guys, now today I'm going to start one of the very important concept of function, that is periodic functions. So periodic function is a very important concept for even your JEE exam as well. So periodic functions, we simply can say if there exists a particular constant, a particular value t which is greater than 0, such that f of x plus t should be equals to f of x. So that is a property of periodic function, or the thing which follows this property called as periodic functions. Or in simple way, you can say if a function will repeat all of its output, after a certain interval, that is called as the periodic function. So whenever any function repeats all of your outputs after a certain interval, keep on repeating, those functions are called as periodic functions, and this interval is called as the period of the function. So like one of the simple example I can take it, like if I say we know the sin x graph, at least we all are aware. So sin x graph, if you see, this is a wave kind of this, and same here. So clearly you can see from 0 to 2 pi, this whole length, whatever it is, it's the same value is repeating here. So, and again same will be repeating. So this is 2 pi. Might be someone will say, sir, if I take 0 to pi this much, there, that's not correct. Why? Because whatever answer is here, that is not same here, it is downside. This is positive value, this is negative value, so they are not same. So 0 to 2 pi answer is same as here. Now see, might be some of you will say, sir, wait, if I will take from 0 to 4 pi, that's also a possible period. What's wrong in that? Because after 4 pi it is repeating. That's the same. Dear, it is correct, it's not wrong. But remember, we will take only the fundamental period. Fundamental, please remember this word. Fundamental means the least possible interval for which it will start repeating. Keep in mind, the least fundamental is always a period. So like sine can have 2 pi, 4 pi, 8 pi, 10 pi, but the least one is 2 pi. So the period of cos is 2 pi. Similarly, you can make any number of graph, like even cos, we know the graph of cos as well. So its a period is still 2 pi. So some general functions if I talk about, like sine, cos, sec and cosec, their period is 2 pi. If you're not aware with this, you can plot the graph of these all, you will get the answers. And for graph, Desmos is the best app. You can easily get the graph of all of those functions. So you can see the repetition cycle. And then similarly, tan x, cot x, their period is pi. From their graph itself, you will get it. Or a simple logic you can say, if I say sine 2 pi plus x, isn't it sine x? Yes. So that's the same. And similarly, if I say tan pi plus x, is it tan pi plus x is tan x only, because it is pi plus means third quadrant. So third quadrant is the same answer. So these all also we can say the period by default. Now here we can make a note. If you say mod of any one of the trigonometric functions, mod of any, so it's a period will be half of that. So remember, if I say mod of sin x might be some of you remember the graph, this bouncy curve. So this is, its a period is pi. Similarly, if I say we have mod of sin x, mod of cos x, mod of cosec x and all, so their all functions will become period pi. And then similarly, if we say here that there is some of the concept we have to aware, that if there is a function fx whose period is p or t, anything, so if I say 1 by fx and under root of fx, their period will still be p only, they will not change. So like if I say under root of sin x, what will be their period? It will be 2 pi only, because the sine period is 2 pi. Okay, now the next one we can take, like we know the sin x period is 2 pi. So like if I say what will be sine 3x period, so remember any function whose period, if it is ax plus b, its period is suppose t. So, no, sorry, f of x period is t, so f of ax plus b, so whatever is the x multiple, that will be divided here. That is the fundamental period of any particular question. So f of ax plus b, whatever is x coefficient multiplied, that only we divide will become your answer. It means it will be 2 pi by 3. Like if I say sine of 10x, what will be its period? You will say, sir, 2 pi is the sine basic fundamental period divided by 10. That is my answer, pi by 5. So on you can make it. Okay, as well as you can remember that sine square x, cos square x, when we do the square, the values will become positive, so their period will become pi. Okay, the half of that. Now if we take the next concept, right, the second point, every constant function is always periodic. Every constant function is always periodic with no fundamental period. With no fundamental period means constant functions don't have any fundamental period, but they are periodic. How it is? Example, y is equals to 2. Y is equals to 2 is a horizontal line. So now this, how it is periodic? See there, if I say it is 0 and there is x as 1. So between 0 to 1, whatever is the output is that same output is repeating, same output is repeating. So this, we say it's a period is 1 unit. Correct. But at the same time, someone can say, wait, sir, I will take it's a half. So 1 by 2, still it's a period, it's a periodic. Yeah, that's correct. So 1 by 2, why not it is period? Someone can say it's again half. So you cannot say it's a fundamental period, but it is periodic, that we all know. So please make a note here. You can remember that if you do any trigonometric functions, plus or minus any constant, the periodic function's nature will not change. It will be overall periodic with the period of trigonometric function, means its a period will be 2 pi, because the sine period is 2 pi and this constant doesn't make any difference. And those who are a little bit comfortable with graph, we know the graph of sine is this. So if you say sine x plus 2, the whole graph will shift 2 unit above. So there we make the sine graph. That is the periodic functions. Still same. Understood? Now we take the next concept. Like if I say fractional functions, or yeah. So fractional functions graph itself, we all are aware. If you don't know the Desmos I said, just go for it, plot its graph and you realize this is -1, this is 0, this is 1. So their intervals are 1 unit. So their period is 1. Similarly, now there is some basic concept that also we have to be aware. Like if we say okay, if we say that f is a function whose period is t1, and g is a function whose period is t2. So if you do f plus or minus g, f into g, f by g, so if it is not simplificable, please make a note, if it is not simplificable, their period will be LCM of t1 and t2 and many more, whichever will be functions available. So one of the example we can take it based on that, like if I say cos of 2 pi x by 3 minus sine of 4 pi by 5x. What is the period of this question? So this we know, cos basic fundamental period is 2 pi divided by x coefficient. So what is x coefficient? 2 pi by 3. So we got 3 and this will become 2 pi divided by 4 pi by 5. So this we got basically 5 by 2. So what is LCM of 3 and 5 by 2? So I think we all are aware LCM meaning is, LCM is the lowest or least common multiple. So 3 multiples will be 3, 6, 9, 12 and 5 by 2 multiples means integer multiple. 5 by 2 into 1 will be 5 by 2, 5 by 2 into 2 will be 5 and dot dot dot. So the common LCM will come as 15. Or those who are a little bit smart, they know how to take LCM of fractions. LCM of fractions, that is, just take LCM of numerator divided by HCF of denominator. So clearly we can see for this case it is 3 by 1. So 3 by 1 we can make it, that is LCM of numerator. So 3 and 5, their LCM will be 15, and the HCF of denominator, so that is 1 and 2, so their HCF is 1. So the final answer is 15. Okay, now let's just take next question. Like if I say we have a function, if we have a function whose period is t and there is a function g whose period is also t. So if you say f plus minus g have a period t, that's not exactly correct. This is not correct. Why? Because it could be possible that this is not the fundamental period. How? Just take an example. If I say mod of sin x plus mod of cos x, We know individual mod sine period is pi, individual mod cos period is pi. So LCM of pi and pi should be pi. But wait, according to f of x plus t definition, according to this definition, this is the main. So if I say replace x as pi plus x in the question, or why not to do pi by 2 plus x, that's better. So it become mod of sine pi by 2 plus x plus mod of cos pi by 2 plus x. Because it is mod, so sine 90 plus will become cos, and then sine will become cos will become sine. So is it the same as the original question? So with the interval of pi by 2 only, we got the same answer. So pi is okay, but this is not fundamental period. Remember in the first question I said like sine you can take 2 pi and 4 pi. So 2 pi is the fundamental period. Okay, let's just take some more questions. Like if I say we have a question, sine of cos x, what will be period of this question if they will ask? So simple logic dear, sine of cos, you cannot just do guess it here. So better take 2 pi plus x. So it's cos of 2 pi plus x will be cos x only. So it will become still sine of cos x. So your period is 2 pi for this question. But if I say cos of sine x, what is period of cos of sine x? So for cos of sine x, if I say cos sine, here if I do pi plus x, so sine 180 plus theta will be minus sine theta, and cos inside negative will become positive cos only. So means cos of sine x still same. So this case your period is pi. Keep in mind. Okay. So now if we take another question, like if I say sine raised to 4x plus cos raised to 4x, the period still here sine 90 plus will become cos, and cos 90 plus, I'm doing it, sine 90 plus x whole raised to the power 4 plus cos 90 plus x whole raised to the power 4. Even though this will be cos and raised to 4, and this will be minus sine, but still raised to 4 will become same value. So sine raised to 4x plus cos raised to 4x still same, means the answer is pi by 2 is a period for this particular question. We can take one of the more question, like if I say modulus of sine x plus modulus of cos x whole divided by modulus of sine x plus cos x. So we can clearly see this period is pi, this period is pi, but the overall period will not say pi. Why? Because this and this overall is the numerator, so their fundamental period is pi by 2. We discussed this thing earlier, just go back and see that. And denominator sine and cos, their mod, we know mod of anything, its period will be half. It means its period is pi. So what is LCM of pi by 2 and pi is pi, your answer. That is the fundamental period of this question. Okay, now some of the more typical type of questions also they can ask, like if I say we can take a question here, that is 4 sine raised to 4x minus 3 pi by 6x square plus 2 times of cos 4x minus 3 pi divided by 3 pi square for this question. So guys, please remember here you cannot do any substitutions and all. So we have to simplify this. So this, if you remember, isn't it wanted to assume this thing as theta. So whatever you see, this is the half of this angle. So if we say 4x minus 3 pi by 3 pi square as theta, so the question will transform as 4 sine raised to 4 theta by 2 plus 2 times of cos theta. Is it clear? Now this, is it can be written some formula that if you remember 2 sine square theta is 1 minus cos 2 theta. There is identity. So if it is theta, this is 2 theta. So this part we can rewrite as 2 sine square theta by 2 the whole square plus 2 cos theta. Now this we can rewrite as 1 minus cos theta the whole square plus 2 cos theta, and this we can expand a minus b the whole square. So a square plus b square minus 2ab plus 2ab cancelled. So this will be basically 1 plus cos square theta. So 1 is a constant, it's a periodic, doesn't matter. Cos square period is pi. So its a final answer will be pi divided by what is theta coefficient. Theta is basically this. So what is x coefficient there? So x coefficient is 4 divided by 3 pi square. So it means this divided by 4 and then into 3 pi square. So the final answer will be 3 pi cube by 4. Okay guys, So some of these type of more question you practice. If you figure out there are some more doubts, so please just ask me in the comment box. I'll definitely get back to you. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye and take care.